It's fair to say that Manchester United fans weren't happy with INEOS during the first season. We finished 15th, we lost the Europa League final, and it was brutal watching every cut and every redundancy. But I said I wanted to wait until the end of the summer to make a judgment. Well, the summer is over, and now I've got a few things that I want to say. Now, I really have been looking forward to actually doing this video and having the conversation I'm going to have about Man United's wages. What's been saved this summer? Because it really was not a normal summer. As far as exits go, and I'll be honest, it wasn't exactly the summer we expected in terms of signings. Was it perfect? No, don't try and put words in my mouth. But I'm trying to get a bigger view of the overall picture of that summer. That's what I'm going to do in this video, all right? So you can let me know what you think at the end of it, but give me 8 minutes of your time, and I'll try and make it as worthwhile as I can. Because going into that summer, right, the feeling around INEOS was not good. After last season, where we finished, after the redundancies and everything that happened in between, it was ugly, it was messy. And INEOS did a lot of damage, I think, with the sentiment, especially with match-going fans. I think they're going to struggle to repair and have a lot of work to repair. But in terms of the actual window itself, this was from the live show. It's our whiteboard where we did an overview across the course of the summer on everything that happened. Of course, these don't take into account the installments and how many years it's paid over, blah, blah. It's just the grand, big total numbers. But what I'm going to do in this video, as I said, I'm going to focus on the exits, and more specifically, going to focus on the wages. Now, I'm actually going to use Copology here as a bit of a groundwork for the wages. You can see there, I'm minusing 25% from whatever Copology say the wages are, which might be a bit big. But I'm doing that because they are definitely not 100% accurate, but I think it gives us a pretty fair reflection. And what I'm actually going to be doing in this video as well is, instead of using, these are the 2025, you can see 25-26 season. Obviously, this doesn't include the players who have left, and there's no point using last season's either, because you got Marcus Rashford down here on 75 grand, because that included how much Villa were paying for his loan. So I'm actually going to use the season before and these wages here, and then looking at those wages that are now not on our bill anymore. And you can start up here. Let's go back to this and see who we've got. So we've got Evans, Lindelof, and Eriksen to begin with, right? So let's go down here. Let's go down there. Eriksen, 150. Lindelof on 120, right? Evans on 150 grand. No. Eriksen on 150 grand. Evans was definitely not 150 grand. 150. Lindelof was on 120. You can see automatically it's removing 25%, which is, I'm saying, like, I don't think that their numbers were ever completely and utterly accurate. Evans, how much was Evans on? Boom, right. Evans, 65 grand. Trust me, I think this will be worthwhile. Rashford was on, man, how much was he on actually? Was it 300 he was on? 300. Rashford was on. Sancho was on 195. Okay, let's get both those two in. Rashford was on 300. Jesus Christ. Sancho was on 195. Onana was on 120 grand. I'm going to go like younger loans, and like in terms of those players, let's call it 30 grand overall, maybe a week. And by the way, this is how much money is being saved per week on the wages, right? Højlund, Antony, and Garnacho are the last three. Right, let's have a quick look then. Højlund, we hadn't signed by that point. Højlund's over here. Højlund's on 85. Garnacho, he's down there on 50. And Antony on 60. Antony wasn't on 60. That was because he was on loan. Let's go the season before. Antony on 105. Right, there you go. Right, so last three. Antony, 105. Not that much. Højlund on, what was it, 85. And Garnacho on 50. My God, these numbers are massive. And I've gone for a 25% topology. Now, I'm not really sure exactly how accurate their numbers are. But ladies and gents, that is not a normal summer for Manchester United in terms of improving the bottom line. And you might get bored of hearing me speak about this. But in terms of Manchester United properly being able to act how we should be able to act in the summer windows as one of the 3 biggest clubs in the world still, it's that bottom line that's really going to change that. And I think that's where United have been successful this summer. Did we get enough for Garnacho? No. Should Onana have been sold instead of loaned? Yes, but nobody wanted him. The same goes for Sancho. The same goes for Rashford. But what United have done, at the very least, is massively improved the bottom line in terms of how much we're wasting on wages. We have reduced the waste massively. Now, what we need to do is make the new signings a success. But I think that's kind of what I wanted to overall get across in this video, is it's not been a normal window at all. It's not been a window. A normal window for United fans, as far as modern transfers go, is to be disappointed, is to be waiting right until the very end, and then panic signings happen everywhere. Anthony and Casemiro, the two that obviously stand out. Now, it was late because we did sign Senny Lomans on deadline day, and I think that was something that United could have and should have improved on. But going into the summer, I always said that I was going to judge INEOS on A, the signings, B, the sales, and kind of how they acted. And I think a lot of good has actually been done. Perfect? No. Will it ever be perfect? No. But what you can see there is that United have saved somewhere in the region of £1 million per week on wages. And when you look at the top earners that we have now, I don't actually think we've got one top earner, even the new signings under INEOS, that has gone over 200 grand. You can do the maths. That would be 5 top earners that we could bring in for the amount of money that we've saved in these players leaving. Now, some of them are on loan, but Onana won't be kicking the ball for United again. My point here is that I just wanted to give the overview, because so much has actually happened this summer. More exits than I think anybody thought was going to happen. The clear out that actually has happened. The impact that clear out's had on the bottom line, and hopefully should therefore have on United's ability, maybe going after Carlos Baleba in January. In the future, not having to worry as much about that bottom line, which a club of United size shouldn't have to worry about. I apologise if you found that video a bit boring, but the numbers are important. And as I said, I'm going, and there is a 25% reduction in wages this season because of the Champions League as well. That's not why it says minus 25%. I'm just putting it there because I can't particularly trust Topology to be 100% accurate with their numbers. So I'm using that to sort of gauge it as a discrepancy. You can let me know what you think in the comments, but going into the summer, my expectations were that I was going to be left disappointed that the clear out didn't happen as much as it did. And I finished the summer pretty damn happy about it.